The stakes in Los Angeles were suffocating. Indiana, sitting 6th in the WNBA standings at 2018, had dropped 4 of their last 5 games, their playoff hopes hanging by a thread. The Sparks, with momentum from their season-long dominance over the Fever, were poised to close the gap and threaten Indiana's postseason berth. With only 5 games left, every possession carried the weight of survival. Coach Stephanie White demanded urgency, preaching that this was no ordinary August game. It was a gut-check moment. The absence of Clark, whose 19 points and 8 assists per game had defined the Fever's rhythm before her injury, left a gaping hole. Without Cunningham, Coulson, and McDonald, the guard rotation was a shell, forcing patchwork lineups and heavy minutes from the starters. For most teams, this would have been a death sentence. But the Fever walked into the fire with a mindset forged in resilience, ready to fight for every inch. The tone was set early, and it was Lexi Hull who embodied the team's unbreakable spirit, still sporting 2 black eyes from a brutal head-on collision with Gabby Williams in the previous game against Seattle. Hull played like the pain was irrelevant. Her face, marked by swelling she jokingly tried to hide with makeup, told a story of sacrifice. She laughed post-game about Coach White's apologetic smiles, but on the court she was relentless, diving for loose balls, battling through screens, and guarding with a ferocity that screamed defiance. Hull's grit wasn't just symbolic. It was contagious. She'd passed concussion tests, iced the swelling, and returned to the lineup knowing the Fever couldn't afford to lose her energy. Her presence sent a message. If she could play through that, no one had an excuse to fold. That intensity paved the way for Aliyah Boston to dominate. Boston wasn't just a star, she was the anchor, muscling through the Sparks front court. With 22 points on efficient shooting, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists. Her 6 steals, a career high, were a testament to her two-way dominance, disrupting LA's rhythm at every turn. In the paint, she was a force, powering through double teams and snatching rebounds from Dearica Hamby and Cameron Brink. But it was her final act that sealed the game. With 1.9 seconds left and the Sparks desperate for a tying shot, Boston read the play like a script, stepping in to rip the ball from Kelsey Plum's hands, ending LA's hopes with a timeout called by Indiana. That steal wasn't just a stat, it was the exclamation point on a performance that defined the Fever's identity. Post-game, Boston's words lit up the fan base. Next woman up. It wasn't just a slogan, it was the blueprint the Fever lived by, a belief that no injury could break their collective will. Odyssey Sims, the unlikely hero, turned the game personal. A former Spark, the 31-year-old backup guard played with a chip on her shoulder, facing the team that once called her their own. With Kelsey Mitchell struggling, hitting just 5 of 14 shots, Sims became the offensive lifeline. Her 21 points came at critical moments. Drives through traffic, mid-range pull-ups, and a clutch floater with 13.6 seconds left that gave Indiana the lead for good. That shot, a clean release over LA's defense, silenced the Staples Center crowd and lifted the Fever to victory. Sims's composure was electric, her tempo-shifting drives and a deep 3 tying the game at 74 late in the 4th. "Stay ready, you don't have to get ready," she said post-game, a mantra reflecting her journey through league cuts and hardship contracts. Her teammates' trust, urging her to shoot with confidence despite earlier misses, fueled her game-closing heroics. Sims wasn't just a fill-in, she was the difference, proving the Fever's depth runs deeper than anyone expected. The game was ugly, as White admitted, but it was a masterclass in resilience. Indiana's 42-28 rebounding edge and 18 points off turnovers overwhelmed the Sparks, who couldn't find answers for Boston's physicality or Sims's clutch play. Aerial powers sparked the bench, and Hull's defensive tenacity ensured LA's guards, like Plum and Rakea Jackson, found no rhythm. The Fever's deflections and stops led to bobbled passes and rushed shots, turning a potential collapse into a hard-fought 78-74 win. This wasn't about style points, it was about surviving a must-win game against a team that had owned them all season, locking in 6th place and pushing LA further back in the standings. As the Fever celebrated, the specter of Caitlin Clark's return loomed large. For the first time since her June 15th injury, she was back in practice gear, running shoot-arounds and light contact drills. White emphasized caution, needing Clark to prove she could handle full-court physicality without regression. With 5 games left against the Valkyries, Mercury, Sky, Mystics, and Lynx, the clock is ticking. A single loss could drop Indiana from 6th. A hot streak could solidify their playoff push. Clark's return, potentially against the Valkyries, could transform the Fever from survivors to contenders. Her pre-injury numbers, 19 points, 8 assists, opened lanes for Boston and gave Mitchell cleaner looks. Pairing her playmaking with Boston's dominance, Sims's grit, and Mitchell's scoring could unleash a matchup nightmare. The Fever's win proved they can thrive without her, but Clark's return could elevate them to a level that shakes the postseason. This saga of resilience echoes the chaos of the August 2025 football transfer window, where ambition and betrayal collide. Chelsea's $40 million signing of Alejandro Garnacho from Manchester United, per The Guardian, stunned the Premier League, while Tottenham's $51.8 million coup for Xavi Simons, per Transfermarkt, fueled their Champions League chase. Newcastle's $85 million bet on Stuttgart's Nick Woltemade counters Alexander Isak's $130 million Liverpool push, and AC Milan's $30-40 million deal for Christopher Nkunku, per Fabrizio Romano, adds to the frenzy. Robert Lewandowski's Saudi snub anchors him at Barcelona, while a hip-hop feud sees Lil Meech accuse Rick Ross of a $120 million BMF scam, per Insiders, escalating with 50 Cent's barbs. Like the Fever, these stories are about defying expectations and seizing moments. The Fever's win wasn't just a victory, it was a declaration of a team finding its soul. Boston's leadership, Sims's heroics, and Hull's grit showed a roster that thrives under pressure. With Clark's return on the horizon, the question isn't just about making the playoffs. It's about how far this battle-tested squad can go. Can they keep this fire burning? Will Clark's return make them unstoppable? Drop your thoughts below, comment Big Fever win if you're hyped, and smash that like button. Subscribe and turn on notifications. The next chapter of this drama is coming fast.